What's up, guys? It's Chris, and welcome to VHP Indians. All right, so I don't know where you're watching my videos. I don't know if you're watching them on your phone or whatnot, but the Dyno numbers is the thumbnail, or it's going to be the thumbnail. So maybe you've already seen the numbers, or you couldn't see the numbers. So I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to tell you the numbers right off rip, and then we're going to explain the numbers, right? So because I did, I had to follow up with him. I'm going back and forth with him over text at work. And I had to wait till I got out so I could actually sit on the phone and talk about exactly what's on the car. And then I went back and rewatched my B20 NA build video, which I'll link in here, to talk, to remind myself what I initially thought, what my guess was. And my guess right now tonight was about 5 horsepower off of what I said in that video. So it was real fucking close to what I expected, right? Or what I was saying, what I thought my numbers would be. Okay, so I estimated with fucking bolt-ons, full bolt-ons tune, and this high compression setup, I expected 165 to 170 horsepower in the B20 video. So when he's talking to me tonight, I was saying I was expecting at least 160 horsepower. That was my expectations for the build, right? And he has told me what he had on the car, but it's kind of, I get messages all the time from different people, so, and I'm a little bit ADD. It's hard for me to absorb something unless I'm 100% focused on it. So I just kind of, like what mods he had on there, I wasn't 100% sure. I knew they weren't full bolt-ons, but I didn't know how many bolt-ons he had, and it turns out that he only really has one. So we got the numbers back, right? And it was 144 wheel horsepower, 122 foot-pounds torque, right? Now, what I was expecting and hoping for was 160 horsepower and 130 foot-pounds torque. That was my guess, right? So, in my guess department, I came up 16 horsepower short and 8 pounds short, 8 foot-pounds short. So if you think about it like that, it's not really that far off, right? Now, then we go talk about exactly what's on the car and the reason why it came up so short on the power mark, right? Like I said, the only bolt-on that he really has on there, that he actually has on there, is an aftermarket header. The intake manifold and the throttle body are stock. The air intake he has is a stock intake, and he has stock ITR exhaust on there, right? So digging around, the ITR exhaust is like 2.25, right? So for a 2-liter engine, and especially you're trying to make power, right? I would look at a 2.5-inch exhaust, right? So he's got a little bit of chokeage there on the exhaust side, and he definitely has major restriction using that air filter on, that air filter. It's a stock air filter in that box, right? Super restrictive, and he's got a stock intake manifold and throttle body on there. So when I was saying I hope for 160 horsepower, I think, and being that I was my expectations were 16 wheel horsepower off, I definitely easily see the intake manifold, throttle body, intake, and exhaust making that leap. So in the B20 video, when I was saying 165 to 170 wheel horsepower, I don't think that's that far off the mark. And even the tuner says, yeah, intake manifold, and he goes, maybe cams, and that'll make it 35 horsepower. I just don't understand why they chose to tune with the stock fucking filter on there, man. That's crazy to me. Even rewatching my video, I said, for intake, the stock intake is actually a decent size. It's not huge, but it's decent size. And I said you can use that as a cold air intake if you just take out the fucking filter, man. So the filter's still in there. So that's really restrictive. If you see a lot of dyno footage, a lot of times you'll see people with big ass cheater pipes sticking out to the cold air, when they're doing the tuning. So they tune with that filter on there. So that's all in all, that 144 horsepower. It may not seem like much, but it is a lot considering that there's only one fucking real bolt-on on there, and the only mod done inside the engine is the high compression pistons. So at the end of the day, if you're building this yourself, it's not bad. You're spending $140 on the pistons or $145 on the pistons, and then I did pay the machine shop to press them, which was $40. So $180 piston swap, and then and if you're buying new bearings and stuff like that, it's a really cheap mod. And considering what a stock B20 makes, which is like 125, 130 horsepower at best. So that's not really that bad of a jump from just the high compression tune and aftermarket header. And again, I really think if you let that engine breathe properly, it'll definitely have a nice little spike in power, right? So yeah, I guess a quick review here, but it just sucks, thinking, well, we'd have to make more things. Oh, so what really was is also too is when Edgar got the block for me, he had the block sitting at his house, and one of his friends was talking about, fuck this thing, let's just go K. And I told him, well, you already spent money on the B, get the fucking B running. And if you want, we can go back and do a K, and I'll do a sponsored giveaway for a poor man's K20A2, right? So it'll be capable of making K20A2 power levels, right? So the shop is telling him, hey, throw a VTEC head on there, that's 35 horsepower right there. I agree. I agree that's an easy mod. And then if you put an intake manifold, throttle body, proper intake, and exhaust on that, you're definitely looking at K20 power levels and torque anyway, because, B20. Then it's the exact, like, we go that route, it's cheaper and faster, or go K, then you have to deal with an entire new swap plus K Pro, which is $1,000. So Edgar, when you're watching this, like I told you on the phone earlier, it's a standing offer. It doesn't matter whether it's a year, 2 years from now, as long as we stay in contact, as long as we stay in touch. If you want to do a poor man's K20, I can give you that one for free. If you want to do like a big boy K20 or a built K20 or whatever, then it'll be labor free, and we can just pay for parts and shipping. So, and that, like I said, guys, like I told you this, guys, months ago, that I can do 1-for-1. Like if you come to me with a build, it's hassle free. You don't give me a lot of headaches. You come to me, you pay the money I'm asking you to pay, and then you give me the dyno numbers, you give me the footage, we do good turnaround times like that, then as long as you keep on good terms with me and keep in good contact, I can give you another one for free. Right now, as it stands, this is not going to be something that happens for the rest of my life. Eventually, I will pick up clientele. I'm fairly confident that I'll get to the point where I'm busy enough where I won't be able to do this for everybody. So this is one of those things that you want to do this now while I'm more concerned about getting engines on the market and getting numbers back over just straight making money. Of course, I do need to make money on some of this shit, because a lot of times when these guys are calling from out of state, they're not shipping me blocks to rebuild. It's not like CSS where you're sending the block in and then getting that same block back. I'm getting the engine. So you're calling up Chris, you're DMing Chris, say, hey, I want this engine. I'm the one going out getting the block. I'm the one going, getting everything together that you're going to need for this build, and then you're just buying parts, right? So a lot of times when you come to me, you're not really spending a lot of money on labor. You're spending money on buying parts too, and it's one of those things you can't get around. You're gonna either pay shipping to send me something, and take the risk, of it being healthy or not, or you just pay for me to get something here. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. I think that Edgar's going to move forward. We're going to do B20V, so eventually we'll get numbers back from that. I would imagine that eventually we'll see a street pool from the B20. The tuner did say the engine runs real smooth, so that's, yay, And so at the end of the day, I think he's still going to be happy with the car overall. It's gonna be fun. It's not gonna be super fast, but it's it's a little something. And then when he jumps to VTEC, it'll be something that is to be noticeable increase in power, 30 something or to 40 horsepower, potentially more depending if he goes full bolt-on route. It will definitely be a wake-up call, and even more if he does cams. And then hopefully later on down the line, when we're in a better position where we can do a K20 or a K24 or whatever that he comes up with, we can do something like that and make all kinds of power. Like I said, guys, if you guys give me no hassle like Edgar did and like Roger did, y'all give me no hassle. We can move forward and do more business in the future. I'm always trying to look for more work, and you guys that support me, I definitely got you back. Once you're in the Chris Club, you're good, and then I cover you. Like, let's say you're fucking eventually, like with Brian, when he eventually that bootleg or the poor man's GSR gave out, it was GSR rotating assembly in a B18 with a B18 head. I think he had the engine for a year or two. Like I said, El Paso to back a couple times. He tracked the car on a regular, and he dailied the car. When that engine gave out, I offered him to build him another block, and I did. He decided to go a different route, so that's why he didn't pick that up. But I mean, even now, even though I was frustrated at the time, and we don't really talk too much anymore. If Brian were to come back to me and ask me for another block, I still wouldn't be opposed to it. I'd still hook him up, because at the end of the day, he did look out, and he did give me the shout out and whatnot, all that stuff. And I appreciate that. And the least I can do is show my appreciation by giving out some free labor. You know, labor is of course my time, and time is everything to me. But if you've done good by me, I got no problem doing good by you. And at the end of the day, it's a cycle of help, right? You're getting another engine that you get to have fun with, and I get another engine out there to show numbers off of. So it's not like I'm doing it 100% free. The advertisement works. So got to pay to play, right? And that goes even on my side. So if the only thing I'm paying is my time and labor, I'm down for it. If you've not given me any problems, so yeah. So this has been a beyond review, but just to saying that I'm sticking by what I've said. Like I said in the other day when I was talking about Roger, I offered Roger another engine right after he was talking about going K, and I offered him a big expensive engine that I paid a lot of money out of pocket for, and he decided not to because he wants to build his own engine. And of course I encourage that. This is why I do the channel, is to encourage you guys to do your own build. So at the end of the day, I think that this B20NA is good. Like if you want to practice getting your hands dirty with engine building, but you don't want to just do a stock rebuild, you want to do something, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, I think that a build like this isn't bad. It's good for your budget. It'll definitely make power if you give it the right bolt-ons, and even if you don't go bolt-ons, it'll still make decent power. 144 to 144 wheel horsepower, 122 foot-pounds of torque. You're still matched on fucking on a decent amount of like stock B series cars and shit like that. It's I'd like to see what it does on against some racing against a stock GSR or stock B16 and shit like that. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll just see B20V next. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace.